Yeah, I think it's been a monkey on my back, so to speak. 12 tests in, not to get a five. I think as a bowler, when you're taking 5+ wickets in an innings, that's when you're changing games, 4 fizz, 3 fizz. I mean, all the wickets help, but I think 5 wicket hauls is what changes games. So, yeah, nice to get to that milestone, and even sweeter to take my 1,000th wickets for South Africa, well, whilst playing for South Africa. I'm not really a stat man, but yeah, I think it's a milestone that not many have achieved. So to get over the line, especially in a Protea shirt, is something that I'll remember for a long time.
And just secondly, I don't think we've ever seen a South African side with 3 spinners win a test. How did the 3 of you gel? How did you guys work together?
Yeah, I think if you look at the 2 test matches, it was always somebody different putting their hand up. Sen in the first test bowled like an absolute genius. Then Kesh coming back into this game, bowled incredibly well in the first innings with very good control, and then reaped his rewards and cashed in, and then myself in the second innings. So I think hats off to Shukri and the selection panel for backing a sort of 3-spin prong attack. Because I think in these conditions, when we looked at that wicket on day one, we weren't convinced that it was going to turn nearly as much as Lahore, but I think we needed the option. Sen obviously didn't bowl as much in this test, but I think Aiden had the luxury of turning to spinners that he knew he could rely on, and it went a long way.
In the first over today, you went around the wicket to Babar. Was that something you'd sort of targeted? Because I think that was maybe the first time in the second innings that someone had done that. So just wondering what the plan was there.
Yeah, I just feel, especially in the subcontinent, where you've got a lot, as an off-spinner to a right-hander, you've got a lot of turn from outside the line of the stumps. So batters can easily take modes of dismissal away. We were obviously very mindful of the lead. We didn't want it to sort of get away from us. So you're trying to attack and not to leak runs. So you can't carry extra catches around the bat. I just felt that the ball from that end specifically was spinning from straight. And if I came around the wicket, if they did want to look to score square, it kept the stumps in play, whereas from over the wicket they could get outside the line. I'd played against Barber when he was playing for Somerset in the UK, and bowled around the wicket to him, and I felt like it took away his sweep option. He's a very good sweeper of the cricket ball, and I just felt that it was probably more dangerous for him and made him less comfortable when I was around the wicket.
Ideal start for South Africa to their WTC title defense, more so because you have 2 more series in the Asian countries?
Yeah, I think if we're completely honest with ourselves, we weren't at our best in that first test match. I think sitting from the side, at least from my perspective, waiting to bat, seeing the ball turn, you play the innings before you get out there, and then when you get to the wicket, you realize that actually when the ball's turning a lot, it's almost turning too much, and it's not as difficult as you might think it was. And I don't think we were as good in the first test as we were in the second test. So I think as a result, to leave here 1-1 is a good result. The World Test Championship, the way that it works, it's about matches won. So for us to leave here with a 50% win record, I think is a very good result. And then going on to the future series, I think India is a very tough team to play at the moment, and especially in their own conditions. They've got a sort of huge pool of stadiums that they can play at, which different conditions and world-class players. So we need to learn very quickly from the things that we didn't do so well in this series, and make sure that when we get to India that we're putting our best foot forward on day one, and not waiting to sort of get into the series before we start playing well.
What are the keys unlocking Pakistani tailenders on these conditions, and what do you really think, how important are the bowling partnerships in the red ball format?
Yeah, I think on the wickets here, you need to, I felt against the Pakistan batters, you needed to take away their boundary options. They're very good at using their feet, something that we spoke about. Even when the ball's turning away from the bat, they're not scared to step out and get to the pitch of the ball, where I think non-subcontinent players look to sweep first versus using their feet, especially against the ball turning away. So I think with the amount of spinners we had in the squad, the four of us, just chatting, bouncing ideas around, coming up with plans, and then I think bowling in partnerships, as you touched on, is extremely important. I felt in the first test, we probably weren't as good at that. We were leaking runs from one side, but then in this test, we were able to sort of stop the game, and then slowly but surely you get one wicket, difficult for a new batter to start, and you can pick up 2 or 3 wickets very quickly. So I think we were very good in this test at that. And I think in the subcontinent, it's vital to be able to sort of bowl in partnerships and to communicate.
Simon, this is Zahid Malik. We have seen a great cricket by the World Test Champion. A lot of downs, 1 down in the series, 8 downs, then the team rise up. What was the turning point? Now, the series is level. How you say the hospitality of the Pakistan and the weather as well?
Yeah, I think it's a credit to where the group is at the moment. The fact that they can turn it around, I think in yesteryear we might have been guilty of not giving up, but under pressure making poor decisions, where I think the squad at the moment, and credit to the coaching staff, Shukri in particular, instilling the belief in the players, allowing people to be free. If you look at a guy like Dewald Brevis, he gives him the freedom to play how he feels he should play and not how the coach thinks he should play, which I think is massive as a player if you're going out there with that freedom. And it takes away that element of fear of failure, which I think is huge. And then just on us being here, I think it's been an incredible tour. I think Pakistan is a beautiful country, especially where we are now, Islamabad, with the mountains. It's unfortunate that we can't see that side of Pakistan, but the way that we've been received here, the people have been so hospitable. We've felt safe. I mean, if you look at the security detail that we have, there's never once been an incident where we haven't felt safe. So it's been an incredible tour. Good to leave 1-1 and not 2-0. But yeah, it's been a very good first experience for me in Pakistan.
We're taking the 2 last questions, one and then
Hi Simon, you are just nearing 1,000 first-class wickets. Very few off-spinners in the world who are so much skillful with the amount of drift you are getting, and after the drift, that kick and the spin out of the surface. Taking the 5 wickets, how much your first-class experience helped you to perform well in this test series?
Yeah, I felt, especially in this test, my experience in England recently, I feel like the wickets in England they've died a bit. They've lost their sort of zip, pace in the wicket, not a lot of bounce. So there's a lot of times playing at Chelmsford where you get into a situation like that. And although through the series the most dangerous ball has been a pace of, let's say, between 78 and 82, I felt on this wicket the quicker pace was the pace that got batters to commit on the front foot, and then you could use your slower ball to get them into trouble. And I think my time in England has helped me with that, bowling on flat wickets where there's not a lot happening. How you're constructing your overs, what you're looking to do, what shots you want the batters to play. So yeah, I think my time in England has helped me a lot, and I felt that in this game.
I am Abdul Jabbar Faisal from Sports Bulletin. Your captain said before the match that toss will be very important. You lose the toss, and after losing toss, you were expecting you will overcome the opponents easily in the test match. after losing first test match?
Yeah, I think the message from Aiden was regardless of what happens, I know there's been a lot of talk about the toss, regardless of what happens at the toss, we still need to make sure that we're executing our skill. Obviously, on wickets that you know are going to turn, you want to be batting first because it's the best time to bat and you feel like you can really cash in. So yeah, I think the way that the guys responded, especially after losing the first test match, to be able to come out and put in a performance like that, I think Pakistan were in a very strong position and we managed to get a lot of wickets very quickly late on. And then in the second innings as well, making sure, well, firstly getting that lead with the Kesh, KG and Sen being able to get those runs. I think it took the wind out of the sails of the Pakistan team. And, you know, sports in general, but especially cricket is a funny game. When that momentum changes and you have momentum on your side, things just start to go your way. And I felt like that was the turning point in this game was those crucial runs at the back end and the way that KG batted. He took the Pakistan bowlers on and changed the game for us.